Hi guys, this is Brittany from Canadian Beats, and I have Olivia from Olivia and the Crawlies with me on the phone. How are you?
Hi, I'm great, thanks.
Of course. So Olivia, let's just dive right in. So my first question for you tonight is, where did you get the name Olivia and the Crawlies?
Okay, so we get asked this all the time, and it's kind of hard to pin down. So we were kind of when we started the band, we were kind of throwing around a bunch of ideas. A lot of joke names came up, like some some kind of gross, like weird ones, like Olivia and the like bleeding scab. Something that would really kind of juxtapose our kind of gentle folk pop. Um, and I forget who it was, but somebody, like one of my band members, suggested Olivia and the Heebie-Jeebies, I think it was. And that kind of got me into thinking, and I really liked the alliteration of creepy crawlies, and I kind of liked how, it kind of reminded me of, I guess, kind of like children's books, but also like kind of an old rockabilly band. Like I love the idea of like a name and like blanks, so it kind of seemed to fit.
Of course, it's a super catchy name. Like people will never forget it.
Thanks. Yeah, that's what I've been told. People have also said that it's made them think that we were a children's band. So, a bit of a blessing and a curse.
For sure. So, you guys recently released your full-length album, Room to Grow. What was the creative process behind doing this?
Okay, so, yeah, it's a really good question. Um, so Room to Grow is a collection of songs that I've written throughout the years, with songs even spanning back to like 5 years ago when we first became a band. There's a song on the album called I'll Be There that we actually jammed together at our very first ever band practice, which is pretty cool. It's pretty cool to see sort of the evolution of that song throughout the like 5 years we've been a band. And then songs that recently, like that were written as recent as like last summer. So it's really kind of an emotional journey through things that I've been feeling, and I feel a lot of things. So you'll find a lot of that on the record. But basically, what I do is like I'll get a song idea in my mind. I'll kind of usually it happens when I'm sitting in my bed, and I'll kind of like jam it out on my ukulele, and then I'll send my band a video of it, and then we get together and we jam it. And all these songs kind of seem to fit together pretty well. It's we think a pretty good representation of our sound right now in this moment. As you know, it's kind of ever evolving, ever changing. So yeah, that's pretty much how that came together.
Oh, that's awesome. So you said that when you start to do new songs, like you'll play it on your ukulele and then you'll send it off to your band members. So what's the most
Yeah.
difficult part of being a six-piece band, like with the traveling and trying to book big enough stages and things like that?
Yeah, you know what? Actually, both of those things that you just mentioned is are very hard. So scheduling six people is sometimes a bit of a nightmare because we all have like secondary jobs as well. So that's that's kind of a nightmare. But in terms of kind of fleshing the songs out and putting them together, I find that's kind of the easiest part because all my band members are so like respectively talented that like I'll bring them an idea, and then at the first practice that we jam the song, it's like, oh my god, that's exactly how I envisioned it would sound, and they all write their own parts, so it's pretty incredible. But yeah, I'd say traveling is kind of hard. We drive around in a Dodge Caravan, and sometimes usually we'll have that as our main vehicle, and then sometimes someone else will drive as well, so there'll be two cars. But when all six of us cram into that Dodge Caravan with all of our gear, it's pretty much a nightmare. We're kind of sitting on each other's laps, and not literally. We're safe, I promise. But yeah, it's we're all it's pretty tight, pretty smelly.
I can only imagine.
Especially on those, like 6 hour drives. It's pretty brutal.
Yeah, you're ready to
Get out
just be out.
Yeah, exactly. We took it out east, and we really, really got to know each other
I bet.
better or worse. I'm not really sure which one it is.
Well, you guys are still a band, so clearly it was for the better.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I guess so.
So, where do you specifically draw inspiration from when you're doing songs?
Oh, okay, good question. So as I have previously mentioned, I feel a lot of things. I'm a very emotional person. I feel things very deeply. So a lot of my songs come from, moments where I'm really intensely feeling things, like really intense happiness or really intense sadness. And those kind of seem to spark, I guess, what I would think to be my best tunes. I also draw a lot of inspiration from literature. Sometimes I'll read a book and be, so inspired by the tale of the characters that it kind of um, snowballs from there. Like one of the songs on our previous album, Gatsby, obviously was inspired by The Great Gatsby. And I'm still drawing inspiration from books. I'm also really inspired by landscapes. I'm just fascinated by just like all the different sort of landscapes that this world has to offer. And I feel like anytime I'm in a new place and sort of seeing a new landscape for the first time, I'm always super inspired. Me and Kelly are actually going to Turkey in February, and I feel like some pretty good songs are going to come from there too, because it's unlike anything. I know it's going to be unlike anything I've ever seen before.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's amazing. So, my final question for you of the evening is, what is one piece of advice you'd give to a band who's just starting up?
Oh my goodness. Oh, that is so. That is a really really tough question. Because I feel like there's so many things that I could say, but I guess a main one would be stay hungry. You know what I mean? Um, like always work as hard as you can, because all of your hard work is going to pay off. And I know that people say that all the time. But stay hungry would be the main thing. Always be seeking out gigs, and like I said, all the hard work is going to pay off. Yeah, I guess it's a really tough question. And I would also say something that a friend of mine recently told me that really struck me is try to be as sincere as possible in your songwriting, because people will respond really, really very well to that. If you're sincere in your songwriting, it will come across.
That's awesome advice.
Thank you.
Well, Olivia, I want to thank you for taking the time to jump on the phone with me. It was great to get to know you better and know more about your band, and I wish you guys the best of luck for the rest of 2018 and into 2019.
Thanks so much. It was great to talk to you too.
Yeah, of course.